Hi guys, welcome to lesson 1.2, basic terms. In this lesson, you are going to be able to define, sketch, and reference segments, rays, opposite rays, what collinear means, coplanar, and intersections. And you're going to be able to sketch and label figures involving intersections in 3 dimensions. Let's get to it. All right, so for this section, you are just writing down notes, okay? So we're going to talk about some of these basic terms, one of which is a segment. So as you can see in the diagram, which you are going to copy down, you're going to be copying down this whole graphic organizer here. A segment is a portion of a line. So it's literally a piece of a line, and we know that a line goes on forever and ever. So a segment is just a piece of that. Okay, so that means it has two designated endpoints. So you can say one is an endpoint, one is a starting point. But again, at the ends of a line segment are points, as opposed to lines where you'll have arrows. Okay, so again, segment is just a portion of a line. How do you name it? You can name it CD or DC with segment notation on top. So segment notation, you're just drawing a segment, a tiny segment on top of whatever the name of the line is, okay? And you can use them in any order. So meaning you can use the letters in any order. You don't have to go CD only. It can also be named DC, and you'll see that, okay? Secondly, we have what is called a ray. So a ray is also a portion of a line, but a ray has the features of a line as well as a segment. So it has one endpoint or one starting point, but then at the other end is an arrow. So that's the thing. It only goes on forever in one direction, as opposed to a line that goes on forever in both directions. Okay? How do we name a ray? We can name it by the start point, okay, and any other point on the ray. But remember, we have to start, if we're starting here, then we name it, this letter would come second. We can also name it, so we can name it GH, and notice the little ray notation here. We can name it GH, you can name it GK, but you could also name this ray HK, okay? So again, you can name the ray by one of the endpoints and any other point on the ray, or you can name it, well actually it says that you have to start with the endpoint and then use any other point down the ray. But in this case, this could be considered a starting point. Okay, and I know that sounds weird, but if you think about it, this point here could be considered a starting point, and any other point on the ray would be a way to name it. We'll talk more about that if you're confused. And there also will be a supplemental video on it. Okay, opposite rays. So a lot of people get confused with the term opposite rays. Let's be clear. Every straight line has opposite rays. It's just a matter of naming where the opposite rays lie. So opposite or ray KL is opposite the ray KM. Why? Because one is pointing to the right, one ray is pointing to the left. So they're on opposite sides. The way that we name them is, if you're asked, oh, identify the opposite rays, okay. KL is one, we start with the starting point, always do that, and that's one ray. KM is the other. Notice that the endpoint, or rather the point that's in the middle, is how we're starting our names for the rays, okay, or for the opposite rays. So KM, right, and KL. So they're opposites. We wouldn't name it MK and KL because, again, with a ray, you want to start from the starting point. You have to. So the starting point for this ray right here is K, all right? The starting point for that ray is also K. All righty, so let's move it down. All right, so here you'll see definitions of collinear, coplanar, and intersection. What does it mean when points are collinear? Well, they are collinear if they can lie on the same line. So co means with, linear means line, and so with each other on a line is essentially what the term means. So if we were to ask, what 2 points are collinear, well, we can say that A and B are collinear because A and B both lie on this line right here. Also, C, B, and D all lie on line G, so they're also collinear points, okay? What about coplanar? Objects are coplanar if they can lie on the same plane. So this is our plane right here, right? What's inside of this space. And two objects that are coplanar are line AB and point E. These two objects both lie within the plane here. Sorry for the wobbly pen. All right? And name a point that's not coplanar with A, B, and E. C is not coplanar, it lies outside the plane. Or we could say D is not coplanar because it also lies outside of the plane. An intersection is a set of points two or more objects have in common, okay? So intersecting means that two objects meet at a point. For example, and I know this is a little light, we have line M and line N. They intersect, they meet at point P, all right? But let's go back here. It says here, name the intersection, still looking at that plane. I kind of skipped ahead. Still looking at this plane right here, you're asked, what is the intersection of line H and line G? Well, they intersect right here. They both have the point B in common. Name the intersection of plane F and line CD. Plane F, that's the name of the plane. And, sorry, let me move that out of the way. Plane F and line CD, so this is the whole entire plane, and line CD, they both still have point B in common, okay? Finally, and we did kind of skip ahead to this one, so we won't talk about that one again, but it says here, two distinct planes intersect in one line, and they do. So if we look at these two distinct planes here, where they meet and where they intersect is at line ST, okay? So plane RST and plane WST intersect in line ST, all right? That is going to be very, very important. Of course, I'm providing you a supplemental video or two supplemental videos so that you can do the try it out down here on your own, okay? And the try it out is pretty short. I went to see if there was more to it, and this is it. You have to answer all of the questions in the try it out. All right, have a great evening.